there we go. Finally. All right. Well, 2024 is speeding along, and I finally had some time to take a look at my 2023 iTalki year in review. They sent this out end of December, beginning of January, and I looked at it and I was kind of interested in how I had fared over the year. 2023 was a very busy year. China didn't really get out of the whole lockdown idea until about March or April. That time we were able to finally leave and come back the country without sort of having to worry about NAT tests and stuff like that. That was a relief, finally, to be able to come and go as we please. The thing was that by that time I'd already purchased a whole bunch of iTalki credits and I needed to use them up before they expired, which they do every 6 months. So this is my 2023 year in review, and it's been a very intense year for my language learning journey, mainly because I did so much in such a short period of time, I should say. I was a top 1% of Mandarin Chinese learners on iTalki. I took a total of 91 lessons, but that wasn't just Mandarin Chinese. That was 4 different languages that I studied for a total of 3,840 minutes total. So almost 4,000 minutes that I had spent money on to learn from the iTalki teachers. And it was a good experience overall. The one thing about iTalki is that you can find teachers of varying quality. Some of them are community teachers, and then there are the professional teachers as well. Some of them have been teaching for a long time. Some of them have been teaching for a short time, so they may or may not have the same experience level. You can see here the 4 languages that I studied throughout 2023. So that included Mandarin Chinese, Ukrainian, Russian, and Hindi. Now, why these 4 languages? Well, since I live in Beijing, China, working and living here for such a long time, I've been here for nearly 10 years, Mandarin Chinese has made my life a lot easier to live in the country. Bar none, if you're going to move to China, you're probably going to have to learn, if not some Chinese, then a lot of Chinese, and that will help you through all sorts of situations, whether it's ordering water delivery, dealing with gas bills, or even just your landlord, or even your employer. But employers, usually they'll have someone who speaks pretty good English to help you out. Now, why Ukrainian and Russian? Russian I have been studying on and off over the past couple of years. The problem is that there is now a war going on in Ukraine, and I'm not going to lie that I do have some mixed feelings learning Russian when there is such a conflict going on. Now, Ukrainian is part of my ancestry, part of my heritage. I was planning on taking a trip to the country in June or July of 2023. That didn't work out, but by that point, I'd already started preparing myself just in case I wanted to go to Ukraine and visit some people. I wasn't going to go to the far eastern border parts where there was a lot of bombings and going on and everything, but I was going to restrict myself to the western part of Ukraine, maybe getting as far as to Kiev, but I wasn't sure. All that sort of led to me deciding not to go to Ukraine in the end and simply going back to Canada for a month instead. Why Hindi? Hindi was fun. It was a one-off class that I did with a newer teacher on iTalki, and I said, well, I'll purchase a trial class if you agree that I can post the class to my YouTube channel on it. You can find that class on my channel. I never intended to learn much more Hindi. It's one of these very difficult languages. Category 3 or 4, I think, according to the Foreign Service Institute's barometer of languages for people who are native English speakers. So it had no intention of really going any further than that. Although, given my work in China and some of the places that I've worked, I have met a lot of Indians. We all speak in English for the most part. For me, there isn't much of a reason to pursue Hindi much more at this point, other than just for interest's sake. Overall, 4,000 minutes on iTalki. I am impressed. I know that I did learn a lot, and the year, 2023, I really did push through Mandarin Chinese, picking up more of Ukrainian and refreshing what I'd known before and adding to that knowledge. So would I do something like this again with the 4 languages and this number of minutes? I don't think so. I will continue on with Mandarin Chinese. Whether or not I spend 4,000 minutes or anywhere near that studying on iTalki with iTalki teachers, I don't know. Of the other 3 languages, I can see myself maybe picking up some more Ukrainian later on, possibly Russian, mostly because I can find a lot of teachers from Kazakhstan. Russian isn't just restricted to some parts of the world, it's a global language. Not only that, I don't feel as if I need to depend on iTalki to provide me this platform. I can find other ways of learning these languages, whether it's self-study or through other platforms that are available to us. My go-to teacher for 2023 was Vicky for Mandarin Chinese. This iTalki report says, Vicky Mo is my favorite one-on-one teacher. I've interacted with her in Chinese Mandarin live lessons for 540 minutes. The time you two spent together must be fantastic. Vicky, what do you think? She doesn't live in Beijing. She lives about an hour away, hour and a half away, which, I mean, is like basically you take the subway across the city. She has been very helpful. Every class I took with Vicky, I always felt like I was getting something from it, learning a lot. She gave me a lot of vocabulary I could use, modern vocabulary especially, so current internet speak in Mandarin Chinese, which is something that you don't get very much of if you live outside of the country of your target language. And I've found, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but there are some times when you might be writing something online and people will know that you don't live in China because of the way that you put these things. The other good thing about Vicky was that she was open to communication outside of class time. And by that I mean some teachers on iTalki, for any number of reasons, might not engage with you outside of class time hours unless it was for business purposes, whether it's on the iTalki platform or on your chosen method of communication, be it Zoom or Skype. As a result, I found I could ask Vicky questions outside of class time and then use that later on to build upon further conversation classes that we had together. Now, there is something to be said about respecting that time and making sure that you're not pestering, but overall, her availability, given that she's a full-time Chinese teacher, I was impressed that she was able to spend so much time helping me in a lot of my Chinese isms outside of class as much as inside of class. The biggest month was May, where I took 21 lessons and exceeded 99% of all learners on iTalki. Look back on every step you made. May was crazy because not only was May language learning time, May was also a very busy time at work. By that point, China had opened up again. A lot of the restrictions on nucleic acid tests and stuff like that had been relaxed, and so we had this glut of work. During the month of May, it wasn't unusual for me to have classes during the day, Monday to Friday, whether it was at lunchtime or after work or even later into the evening, depending not only on my schedule, but on the teacher's schedule as well. 21 lessons, I actually thought I took a few more than that, but if it's going to tell me 21, then 21 it is. Not sure I'd want to do that again. The other thing about the month of May was that because I was still planning to go to Ukraine at that time, the next month in June, that's why May was stacked full. Ukrainian lessons, Chinese lessons, and then of course I was working full-time as well. Not sure I would do that again, that sort of language sprint, that language cramming before a trip. I wasn't able to progress as much in Ukrainian as I would have liked, even though I knew I had about 6 to 8 weeks to prepare. There's only so much I could have realistically expected myself to accomplish in that time. Overall, iTalki has labeled me a polyglot powerhouse. You've gone above and beyond, mastering multiple languages. Not mastering. That's truly remarkable. It is. It's 4 languages, and I know that there is something to be said about being able to learn multiple languages at once. I have done videos about this before. One issue that I have encountered is how much can you actually focus and concentrate on each language that you're studying. By no means did I pick the easiest languages to study. Mandarin Chinese is well known to be very difficult. Russian isn't very easy. Same with Ukrainian. Hindi, likewise. Now, Hindi aside, that's a one-off, but for me, learning Mandarin Chinese is sort of the priority. That being the case, even with learning Mandarin Chinese, it's like learning 3 languages all at once because of the vocabulary, the tones, the grammar. And then that's just be able to communicate. If you want to read and write, you have to add those skills on as well, which are not as easy to come by as they would be in other such alphabet-based communication methods. So, Going forward, 2024, what am I looking to do? Well, overall, I want to focus more on Mandarin Chinese, and instead of focusing a lot more on working with teachers, I'm going to have to spend more time on my own. Am I doing those HSK books for Mandarin Chinese? I might return to them again. I did start studying the HSK 6 flashcards on Anki based on the old series of textbooks, not the new ones that they just released, which honestly, it's a language. How much has the language changed in 2 years? Not that much. So from there, studying Mandarin Chinese characters, possibly returning to the HSK 5 textbooks that I haven't finished just yet. And I'm also looking to take part in several Hacking Chinese challenges. There's this guy, Ollie Ling, who runs the website hackingchinese.com, I think, and he runs these 3-week sort of language study sprints focused around Mandarin Chinese, in which you pick a goal and you try to hit that goal within 20 to 21 days or so. January was listening, February is writing, March will be something else. I like the idea because it gives you a focus. And in developing that focus, or being able to sort of restrict my focus, I should say, I'm able to find all the times and the little bits and pieces of the day to focus on that skill, be it reading, writing, listening, speaking, etc. The goal overall, 2024, continue on focusing on Mandarin Chinese, possibly pick up a little bit more of Russian by way of self-study, not committing myself to any more language lessons just yet. I need to get through the remaining packages that I have, and then possibly either in April, May, or even later on in the year, I might return more to iTalki and find a few more teachers to study with. That is probably one of the greatest things about using iTalki, and I will put my affiliate code in the show notes below so you can make a purchase through there, and you're helping me with my own language learning as well. So with iTalki, you can find teachers from around the country. You don't just have to speak standard Putonghua or standard Mandarin Chinese. You can find teachers from north of China, south of China, east and west. They all have varying accents, which you might not pick up on if you're just beginning, but it's something that will become a little bit more apparent as you do learn more Chinese and you speak to people, whether it's on the street, online, or even listen to videos online as well. All right, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this video, please press that like button. It helped me and support me quite a bit. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you'd like more content delivered to you, notified once I post more videos in the future. Hope you guys have a great 2024. Happy Year of the Dragon. All the best. Hope your languages develop and progress the way you want them to throughout the next year. Thanks for watching. We'll do this again. Have a good one. Bye-bye.